There's something for every imagination at your local comic shop. Visit ComicShopLocator.com to find a store near you.
Howdy, everybody. I'm Jen King, and you're watching us on The Experience. This is our Talking Shop show. That's the reason why you want to tune into us every single week, and you should subscribe right now, is because we're going to tell you about some amazing books that are coming out this week to your local comic shop that you can then call them up or send them an email right away, message them on Facebook, and tell them, hey, I need this added to my pull box right away, or add it to the wish list so that I don't miss it. It's an important part of the process because there's nothing more heartbreaking than finding out the day of when books release that there is a hot book that you want, but that are all sold out at your LCS. So definitely let them know today so that you can get yours on Wednesday. And they like it too, because then they know how many they've already sold. Makes them very happy. Today, I'm going to talk to some amazing creators from Scout Comics. First up is my cool new friend from Brooklyn, New York. This is Tom Lantern.
Hey, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Hi. So it looks really nice and bright there right now. You guys have a hot streak like we are?
We got a mix. We got there's storm clouds in the distance, but then some bright sun too. So we're going to mix in both worlds right now.
So you guys aren't in the drought like most of the north?
Yeah. It's not too bad over here. I noticed, it just seems like the west side's getting hit, but over here, it's about normal, I'd say. What's the temperature over there today?
I have not been outside this door since 9 o'clock this morning, and it's
like me.
Purpose because I'm pretty sure we would just catch on fire from how hot it is outside. It's interesting. Texas, especially Houston, the weather is kind of like it may be 89, 95 outside, something like that, but with the humidity and heat index, it's always like 116 or something. So it's crazy.
Whoa, wow.
You guys have had those kinds of days in the city, though. You guys get way up there.
Yeah. It was surprisingly, June was crazy, but then surprisingly, it hasn't been as bad in July. Mm-hmm. So, it hasn't increased by the week or anything, thankfully. Yeah. So, but June was crazy for a bit.
So I'm glad to see you're not part of the mass exodus out of New York.
Yeah, I stayed the whole way through. I didn't leave. Things actually, fortunately for me, it wasn't too bad. Work-wise, health-wise, things have been not too bad. I work, illustration is my day job, and then I draw comics at night. And I was worried, everything would dry up, but it wasn't. It was surprisingly okay.
So I looked at some of your illustration art, and I love your style. I cannot figure out for the life of me what your medium is. Is it color? Is it color pencils, watercolor? What is it?
It's all digital, but I only use Photoshop, but the thing is I try to use a lot of traditional media. Sometimes it's watercolor, sometimes it's ink. Mullet Cop's all flat color, I'm with Mullet Cop. It's funny because Mullet Cop is was a total new style direction for me. I was drawing manga stuff before, and that just wasn't quite the right tone for Mullet Cop. There's no way my old stuff that style would have fit for this one. And I'm always switching my style for work stuff. It's just every client wants something different. So it took me a little while to figure out exactly how to do Mullet Cop, because it was I knew what tone I wanted it to be, but I wasn't drawing comics in that style at the time. So it's evolved. I think I came up with the idea a couple years ago. At first, it was just an idea for a game that me and some guys I work with we're going to develop a mobile game, and that's actually still in development. But that was like kind of the original idea for Mullet Cop. It was just going to be a game. All I had was ideas for different gangs, like in a futuristic setting, and like some different characters. And I was like, I don't have a story yet, but it's like, I know if I work on these games, I'll eventually have a story come out of that, you know? So, and that's exactly what ended up happening. It just took a while, but I knew, like, even in the beginning, like the other stuff I was working on, like this has, you know, it's a lot of comedy in it, and the tone of my other work was way more serious. And this was like somewhere between, like, I was looking at some artists. Have you heard of Death Burger?
No, that sounds cool.
Look up his work. He reminds me like a modern Mobius, but like his influences are a lot of like he's drawing a lot of stuff from 80s and 90s, but it reminds me of Mobius's work. And I was looking at his stuff, and you know, his has a little bit of comedy in his, but it's not quite as much as Mullet Cop. But, you know, mine falls in line with somewhere like that, and then like Beavis and Butthead. You know, it's somewhere in between those tones. You know, like Mullet Cop, I have some sophisticated, you know, technical like shots that have a lot of depth in the mall, because you want to show this huge mall. But then I also do a lot of like, almost like, you know, like Beavis and Butthead, it would be just a very flat angle shot. And it kind of fits the mood. You don't want a sophisticated look to something like Beavis and Butthead. So I've started incorporating a lot of like flat angle shots in Mullet Cop, just because it fits the mood. It shouldn't look too sophisticated anyway. And that doesn't work with comedy as well, I think.
I've also really loved the colorways that you've chosen, which don't necessarily 100% is not the first color set you think about when you think about a cop book. It feels like Miami Vice kind of like got together on the page here, and it's
right.
Just like with all those peaches and pinks, right?
Yeah. Well, part of it's like, you know, the whole thing takes place in a futuristic mall, but it's supposed to look like something that would have been made in the 80s, even though it's futuristic. So I'll use some of the color palettes from the 80s, but also I've kind of modernized it. I think, again, like my influences are coming from some modern day illustrators, but it's also got, you know, 80s and 90s influences coming in there too. So yeah, there's a lot of neons. There's a lot of, like pinks, softer tones as well. And yeah, this palette is total opposite again of my previous work, which is like, again, much more serious. I was using a lot more earth tones, probably more so than like you're used to seeing. I was using a lot more, just like earth tones and stuff like that. And looking back at some of my work, maybe I was like, maybe I should have popped in a little more color in there. And then this one's on the other spectrum, where it's like it's pretty intense at times, but it fits. And it's a little bit experimental, but like, you know, I want to do something interesting that with like the kind of the neon feel of malls, and I'm kind of just experimenting with that. You know, a lot of what I do, I think with a lot of my work is, you know, it's like the environment is a character, and I put a lot of time into my environments, and it's very appropriate for a story that takes place in a gigantic mall to make sure you feel like you're there. You know, I think in my dialogue scenes, maybe I won't draw any background sometimes for some of the cells, but like other ones, I try to do more like detailed shots for like some of the wide angle shots of like the interior of the mall. So you really, you know, kind of get a feel for it.
I feel like to be truly of the era, you have to have like an Orange Julius in the background somewhere.
Oh yeah, there'll be. Well, the thing is like, okay, like there'll be like a scene that will feel kind of like Orange Julius. I won't put an Orange Julius in there, but like in like issue 2, there's like a lemonade stand type thing that kind of feels like that. They're giving you different tropical, you know, juices or whatever. But I also try to like make some like cheesy it's got to be like a high tech Orange Julius,
Do you remember back in the day?
Yeah.
They had this place where they mostly had this giant lemonade, like it was almost like a plexiglass square. Like they would be up on a tall stairs or whatever, and they'd be like making more lemonade by smashing lemons or whatever. But they had these like almost carnival hats that they would wear, and they also served, I think, hot dogs or something.
That was at the mall?
Yeah, it was definitely a mall.
Oh. See, nothing exciting like that. They don't have anything exciting like that at the mall these days. Malls become like, I mean, it's not like, I don't know, it's just boring compared to like, it's just such a big part of like just culture in general. I was really excited to go to the mall when I was a little kid, and now it's just like, I'm kind of bored there, It would be cool if there was more aspects of culture incorporated in a mall aside from shopping, and like, I'm still bummed out. Like arcades were so much fun growing up. I always got bummed out that those just like died down. That was a huge part of like, not just like as like being someone who enjoys video games, but the social aspect of it. It was fun, and that's going to be in issue 3. There's like it's like this gang of I don't know. They're somewhere between like. Cross between like Highlander or something, of like this gang that like kind of protects a certain video game in the arcade, and Mullet Cop isn't allowed to go touch it, and there's like a bit of like Tron in that episode too. Like that's a fun one, I think. Yeah, that's issue 3, and like that touches on like some of the stuff like when I went to the arcade growing up, like my parents were like, be careful, stranger danger, and that kind of like got my wheels turning. Like, oh, because there were kind of like strange people at the arcade sometimes.
They were.
Well, I thought it'd be fun to have a gang that kind of based around the arcade and that whole scene. Because I haven't even seen like, I don't know, like I just think that's a fun area to explore with this comic. Yeah. There'll be plenty of arcade games and stuff in this.
Do you remember those dudes who used to hang out at the arcade, and they would be on the hottest game like Pac-Man or whatever, and they would have porters lined up along the street.
Oh yeah,
they would say, "You can come play me, and if you beat me, you can have I'll let you use the game, and you can have the quarters that are up there." But you could never beat them because they're always.
Oh yeah. Some of those guys. I mean. When I was a kid, they were like, the games were so hard I couldn't last more than like a minute, So like the guys that were like hanging out there that are a little older, you knew they were like.
There's old arcades showing up.
What's that?
We have one in our area. We have an arcade in our area that has brought back all the vintage games.
Oh, that's cool.
So cool.
Yeah, we have a couple bars in Manhattan that are kind of like they're not like huge or anything like that, but. All they have is like old school arcade games, and that's kind of cool. I've gone in there a couple times. I think it's called Barcade.
Oh, nice. So is Mullet Cop? Is it a straight up tale of copdom, or is there any like special abilities or powers that are hidden there?
Well, he's actually like, I mean, he's undercover, and then he's got like. The whole thing's a spoof off of Knight Rider, basically. Where
I love Michael Knight.
Oh yeah. Fred's not quite as attractive as Michael Knight, but he's still, he tries. But like, okay, so he's an undercover cop, but he's an undercover mall cop, right? So. He's the whole story's like supposed to be like I tried to come up with like the most ridiculous plot I could come up with, and he's an undercover mall cop, and you know how like Michael Knight, he had good looking dude, he's got the Trans Am that talks. Fred, the main character in this, his undercover is working in the food court, and instead of having this cool Trans Am that talks. He has a microwave that talks to him that looks just like Kit. And he's like, it's like a supercomputer and it gives him his missions and stuff. So, it's not quite as cool as Knight Rider, but, it is what it is. But so no, he really. I mean, each episode, he's taking on different gangs in the mall. You know, this is like a gigantic futuristic mall, and like corporate entities, things like that. A lot of the 80s and 90s type antagonists and stuff like that. And let's see, he doesn't really have. The funny thing is like Mullet Cop isn't particularly skilled. He just somehow always kind of accomplishes the mission, or someone helps him accomplish the mission. He'll do things that like will kind of surprise you. Like he'll just like suddenly kick someone's butt. But then other times, like he completely relies on other people to save him. But then he's not very self-aware. He still thinks he's the best. You know, like he thinks he's the most important person in the mall. So yeah, no, he's kind of an everyday kind of guy. But like, so the whole thing is like part of this, like he works in the food court, right? So he has to run a restaurant while he's fighting all this crime. And like running a restaurant's already so stressful in itself. And he doesn't, he has a temper. He can't handle all this stress. So it's really, you end up with these crazy situations where Mullet Cop's always stressed out, and he's trying to save them all, and he just does the best he can. And
sounds like so much fun.
It's crazy. I feel like I've created a sandbox where there's I think I've come up with like 20 ideas for different episodes, and then like with different gangs and stuff like that. And each gang he fights, I could probably do multiple stories for. So we'll see. It's just a lot of fun because, again, like I miss those mall days. Part of this, what inspired this, I don't know. Did you ever check out those Dead Mall series on YouTube? It's interesting. Where these guys go into like these malls that were, doing great like in the 80s, and they're now abandoned. They'll just go in and explore them. That was part of the inspiration for this whole comic book series. I was blown away. It's just so weird to see something that was flourishing not that long ago be like completely abandoned. It's not like every mall's dying, but a lot of them are. And it's crazy to see. So some of like the areas in the mall in this story, they look like that. They're like abandoned, and then other parts are newer. Part of them are like crime-ridden. Other parts are a little safer. That kind of thing. So that was inspiring, and it's relevant too. I think a lot of people, in this day and age, I think miss those types of days at the mall. That was fun.
So I have to tell you, if you found yourself inspired by that, there's a series on, I think it's either Amazon Prime or Netflix, because that's all the only things I watch. But it's a documentary about a mall is a dying mall, and it's from the point of view of a fellow who serves like every purpose areas, like the janitor, security.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
Yeah, and it's just a true to life. Like it goes through like maybe a couple years of it kind of like slowly failing.
Yeah, that sounds familiar. It is
trying to do it.
Yeah, that's crazy. I'll have to check that out, because I think, I've caught things on YouTube similar to that, where you get the whole story, like, hey, what happened here? But so that guy's the janitor, and he's running the whole thing.
Yeah, security, janitor, whatever. It's just mind blowing. I think there's only like 2 employees to the whole mall. You're like, how can you run this?
How is that still even functioning at all? And like, why? Yeah, that's really crazy. Yeah. Well, yeah, you figure. I mean, I wonder like where that's located and like what's going on around there. It's probably, I don't know. It's weird to see that stuff. But I'll go to other malls that are like brand new, like in Long Island or whatever. They're doing great. It's like everyone still needs to update. Some of these malls just didn't update, or if something bad happened in the area, crime wise, it doesn't work out at all, because people have so many options now. It's like,
oh gosh, yeah.
When I was growing up, you had like 3 malls you could go to, and those,
And they were like, I would like you were saying, I felt like they were like more our social center. So on Friday night, Saturday night, that's where you would meet your friends, and you would go to the attached, theater and go watch a movie, and you would go to the arcade.
Oh
You
yeah.
would go to the food court and eat ridiculous amounts of food. And I don't know if people do that anymore.
Yeah, I don't, not nearly as much, and yeah, I think part of it is all the options, and of course, online. But it's because it's like there's nothing interesting there outside of shopping. I don't like shopping for clothes. That experience, like, it's fine once the things are purchased. That's great, But like the actual experience of going, if there's other stuff there that I was like, oh, that'd be cool to check this out. What's nice is I've noticed a number of comic book stores popping up in malls in Long Island.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice to see. Like when I was a kid, there was even like Toys R Us. Toys R Us was like, so exciting as a kid, and I don't know, like I guess a number of malls still have toy stores or whatever, but yeah, just in comparison, it's just not on the level. It would be nice if someone could bring that back.
Oh yeah. So do you say you have ideas? Do you have plans to make this an ongoing series?
Yeah, we're just taking it issue by issue. I've got so Mall Cop 1's like, it's like a double issue basically, because I had to establish some of the like background and stuff like that. The next two are just like kind of normal size comics, and then so I've got that's 3 issues, and then one more double that's written, and so I've got 4 issues written. I'm drawing number 2 right now. That's pretty far along. And then, yeah, I've got just like outlines for a number more. And I'd say at least a dozen like ones I'm really excited about. And then the other ones, like, they're a little bit half baked, but I think those will be fun too. Yeah, there's just like, with a mall full of gangs, there's just a lot you can do for some reason. I don't know why, like, it's just like this giant sandbox. I'm just like, it's fun. So I think it'll keep me busy a while, so I'm excited. To put it out. It's been fun to see, like I post mainly on Instagram. I'd say it's just been fun to like communicate on there with people. I think a lot of people get the humor right off the bat. It's just cheesy, and it's kind of in the vein of like, not like Beavis and Butthead was more like teenager humor, like, and this is a little bit different, but this is kind of in that same tone. I wanted to create something that's like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of comedies these days are like really cynical, do a lot of like, everything's about like sex and stuff like that. And like, those can be funny. That's fine. But this one, it's kind of more in the vein of something like, I don't know, Naked Gun or Airplane or something like that. Something that's not like so overtly like offensive to anyone. And I don't know, I'm just having a lot of fun with it. I'm not like against any of these other types of comedies by any means, but like, that's just not the tone I'm going for here, yeah, it's been a blast so far.
So you were talking about you kind of like separate the times when you do your illustration work and your work for comics. So you just like have a hard stop in the middle of the day that you switch, or do you have different days of the week you do different things?
Yeah, it varies. Like well, I work freelance, so like a lot of my days, like I'll have some days where it's just like too crazy. Certain types of things, like drawing storyboards for TV commercials, are just like boom, 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 like crank out tons of work in one day. It's exhausting. Other ones are more laid back, so I don't have any trouble transitioning. All I need to do is like take maybe an hour break. I'll like cook some dinner, and then after an hour and a half, I'm ready to draw. As long it's something different, and I have fun with it. So I mean, I can draw like all day at work and then work at Mullet Cop at night. Other times I just have the day off. I'm waiting on clients to tell me stuff, or I've just got the day off. So I'll do it on those days too. But it is like, it just varies. Like some weeks I get a ton done. Some weeks I get, too busy.
Doing storyboards for TV sounds amazingly fun. Do they just like give you a general idea of what they want in the image and you let your imagination fly?
Yeah, usually they'll just give you a rundown of the basic look of the commercial, some different photos, and then they'll just give you a shot list. They're like, this is shot number 1, shot number 2, shot number 3. They'll just explain what the shot is. Like, this is a wide shot, this is a close up. These are our characters. Just draw it, and that's about it. It's pretty straightforward. Sometimes it's just for insurance commercials. It's not always the most exciting material, but it's good practice, And I'll take any job that involves drawing.
So awesome. Do you guys have a set release date for Mullet Cop yet?
September 1st.
September. Oh, we're right on top of it. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I just heard the other week.
That's all I got. If everyone was were people wanting to follow you to see what you're doing in your work, what is the best place to follow you? You mentioned Instagram.
Yeah, I do most of my posting on Instagram. Just Instagram, just / Mullet Cop. I'll probably start posting on Twitter soon. I just have more people on Instagram right now, but I think I'll transition towards Twitter eventually too. I don't do Facebook much. It didn't work for me in the past, but Instagram's been real good.
Yeah, I think Facebook's for us older folks that can't figure out the new stuff yet. That's me.
I just get overwhelmed, and I used to have people following my other comics, but then I would have to pay Facebook to reach my own audience in Facebook. I was like, this doesn't make any sense.
Those daggum algorithms.
What's going on here? Yeah. Instagram's great.
Thank you so much for your time, Tom. Everyone, please do remember to put Mullet Cop on your wish list right now or in your poll, so it doesn't get missed, because it'll sneak up on you like that. Tom, we're so thankful for your time, and
thank you.
Looking forward so much to reading all the different episodes and figuring out all the different gangs that are hanging out at the mall.
Right. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Jen, for having me. It means a lot. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much, everyone. Stick around to the EXP. Up next, we have Austin Janowski. You are watching Minute to Skim It on The Experience, so hello. All right, we've got lots of books to review for you guys today. And Hannah just basically showed up just the number ones and showed them to me, and I was like, oh, we have
just for the indies.
Just for the indies, yeah. I was like, we have got a lot to do. everybody, and welcome back to Talking Shop. I'm Miss Jen. And this is the experience. Oh, next up, we've been wanting to talk to Austin for so long. This is Austin Janowski. Sorry, I can't say your last name without saying it like it's a sports ball event. Sorry.
Oh, I'll take that all day long. Yeah. I could went Janowski.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so I looked at your other work and I'm like, this is so different than what you've been doing. What inspired Stanley the Snowman?
It's funny. So I have 3 beautiful girls, young ladies now, and one Christmas we're opening up presents, and they're bickering that one had more than the other, and one had a bigger one than the other. And I'm thinking to myself, when we were growing up, we got one big present, like that was it. You know what I mean? And then you got stockings and small things, but like the one, you know, and everyone has their like, you know, the best Christmas ever present. Mine was I got a lightsaber when I was 7. That was like my big moment. So it was amazing to me how in recent years, the commercialism that has just taken over the holiday season and traditions that we grew up with year after year after year are kind of being put to the side. So that's what kind of inspired me, like, you know, telling a story of our main character, Jenny, who is all about family traditions and, you know, holiday season compared to the commercial that's just being impressed. But I didn't want to tell there's like so many reindeer stories and so many Santa stories, but there really hasn't been a snowman story since Frosty. So I thought that's a good vehicle. Let's give it a shot and see what we can come up with. So yeah, that's how it came about.
So, okay. So the second question is, it's going to come out not anywhere near Christmas.
No. So I was lucky enough to get with Scout and get on Scoot, which is an amazing imprint. And Richard Rivera is my publisher. And he goes, well, yeah, Rich is amazing. So he's like, well, you know, there's always that Christmas in July thing. So why don't we put the first issue on July, and then we'll do the graphic novel, we'll be ready for Christmas. I said, brilliant, let's do it. So that's kind of the game plan. So yeah, it's kind of far from Christmas right now, but the entire story will be done and available for Christmas.
You know what's interesting, though? I have noticed that there's a lot of stuff that's happening right now that has to do with Christmas that have come out, like Sleigh Bells from Bad Idea just came out. Christmas Caroline, Source Point is going to come out soon. Yeah. Those are both ultraviolet, you know, not really Christmas things, happen around Christmas beings. But maybe what we need in this day and age of like everything being doom and gloom is maybe we need Christmas year round.
Well, they were saying that if you felt like you wanted to leave your Christmas lights up all year round, if that made you feel better during the pandemic, you go ahead and do so. Yep. So we embraced that. We didn't take down our tree till April. Christmas is big with our family. You know, our house is now the destination for anyone coming in and visiting and whatnot. That's our traditions. We do Christmas cookies, sugar cookies, grandmother's recipe, you know, like the Christmas Eve before. So it's a big thing for us. And I'm like, I'm not taking the tree down anytime soon. It's making me feel good. And Christmas in July, I think, is, especially now that things are finally starting to come down, so, you know, open things up. People need that. People need some joy and some happiness.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about Christmas was my brother is like 4.5 years younger than me. So when he would get toys like G.I. Joe stuff and that kind of thing, then I spent Christmas Day building his, like, you know, helicopter for whatever. So I really enjoyed the assembly of things so my brother could play with them.
Yep. The whole like pre-assembled things and having just come already done kind of takes the joy about, I mean, you need to put the time and energy in putting that toy together. You can appreciate it more. At least that's, you know, you got to earn it, man. You got to earn those toys. Now it's just all gift wrapped in. But yeah, that was my sister got a lot of, you know, the big kitchen sets, whatever, and we'd always just, that's what we did. You know, we put it all together and got things ready.
Yep. Man, Christmas time. I can't wait for it this year.
Me either.
Last year was like a non-event. It was just kind of weird because no one could travel to be with each other.
Yeah, it was sad. We did a lot of Zoom, for families and whatnot, and we tried to coordinate everyone making cookies at the same time. That didn't work out. It'll be nice to actually have people come to the house and actually spend time, face to face without a mask or something. I can't wait for it.
All right, we're gonna go backwards in time through your work. It was funny when I was looking up all your other things. I was like, "Well, I cannot believe it," because this is amazing, dude.
Thank you.
So let me tell you something about myself that'll help you understand why I'm obsessed with this book. I am a Sunday school teacher.
Okay.
And so much that gets written about spiritual things, they don't even bother to do any kind of research or thought process. They just go with the pop culture versions of everything.
Yeah.
So if anyone even tries halfway, I'm so happy.
I wanted to do a comic book that has the fantasy elements that I grew up in, that also embodies my faith, because I'm a Christian, and be able to talk about the Bible in a normal conversation. It's not like a Bible thumping, like in your face sort of thing. It's just talking about certain things in different, it's just, people are like, just, oh no, I can't. We can have a conversation about, and it's just face to face. And I just wanted to know, I think having a guardian angel is very interesting, and how we set it up where people can go one way or another depending on how strong they are spiritually, and that's why they have their own personal demon or their guardian angel, and that's how we came up with that idea. And having some Bible actual verses in there kind of shows that we're really kind of focusing on the book. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I like the main character very much, and I like that you didn't go hokey. That it's like not a little devil sitting on their shoulder, little angel. Like the angel looks like they could do some real damage.
Yes. Yeah. But the interesting about the series is she's not allowed to do so. That's her one rule. She can't break that rule. So you're going to find out in the series is she decides what happens if she breaks that rule and the consequences of that action. That's what the series is going to be about. And
hence the word retribution.
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Love it.
That book was over 7 years and almost with 4 different publishers before we finally got it with Second Sight. I'm so thankful that it finally came out.
So did you self-publish it first?
We did convention specials and kind of intros while we were talking with these different publishers, and they really either they love the artwork but the storyline didn't quite fit their model, or they liked the storyline but it didn't fit what they were trying to do, and then one went out of business, and then I didn't hear from the fourth one. They loved it and then just gone. So and then Bradley Golden contacted me and I'm like, so we love this book, we love you, can we publish it? I'm like, yes you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. So there we go. And
those guys are passionate about what they're doing. I mean, I've been kind of following them since they were still part of AP. Yeah. So it's neat to see them striking out on their own.
Well, I've got a Rachel, and this is not her last name. I call Rachel Pandich. She has a married name, and I can't pronounce it. But Rachel is kind of like my co-writer. I come with the ideas, concepts, but I wanted a female's perspective while writing with this main female character. She comes in and does the writing on that. We decided, because it's sold out at Diamond. We're at a second printing right now. Yeah. And we're going to start the series. It's going to be continuous. It was going to be a limited series, but I've always thought if there's interest, we're going to do a continuous series. So yes, that is the plan. So solicitations for one will be late October. We'll go into 2022.
Perfect. So you've worked on a lot of really great things that people might not know. Some Iron Man.
Yeah.
Satellite Falling.
Yeah, that was fun.
Some X-Men.
Yep. I helped Jay Leeson on X-Men Unlimited, and I also helped him with Tomb Raider, so that was pretty cool.
Oh yeah. And then Invincible even. Your fingers in all the cool people's files.
Here's the thing. So Invincible, this is when, Mr. Kirkman wasn't Mr. Kirkman. He was just, and my buddy Joe, friends with him, he's like, hey, they need a page. I'm thinking about doing a pinup for Invincible. And I know Ryan Otley. I was happy to see him in the book. I'm like, "Do you want to be part of the?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah." We did a pinup and it got published. Ta-da! Invincible.
Amazing.
So crazy.
So, is there any company that you haven't worked with yet that you'd be excited to?
I would love to work for Archie. I've tried a couple times to go on Sonic or something else that didn't quite work out. Valiant would be fun too. Those are really kind of the two. I did some stuff for Dark Horse, but then the book got canceled and it just never happened. And so those things happen. But when it comes to the big ones, I would love DC. I worked for DC licensing, not DC in general. So, but those two would be really cool, and DC would be cherry on the top, definitely.
So, do you have even any time in your life to be a fan of any comic book series that you have time to read?
Well, Terry Moore came out with a new series, and I gobble everything Terry does.
Serial?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. God, I just love everything he does.
Yeah.
I still pick up a couple of Batmans. Yeah, the Batman. There's a new one that I saw the Batman Lizard.
Reptilian.
Huh? Yeah.
Reptilian.
So, and Alien just came out, so I guess I haven't gone to the shop for about 3 weeks, so I'm missing out a little bit. So those two I really want to check out. So I buy a little DC. I don't buy so much Marvel because they just flip flop so fast that it's hard to really get into a series.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm a big Batman person. If I can get something.
You just have a friend like me that reads all of Marvel obsessively, just like fill you in. Like, here's what happened in the last 10 issues. Here you go. I do serve that role for a lot of people. All right, now I have to ask you about something ridiculously awesome. So, Dirk Manning and I are dude bros. So I was like, what? Because I saw it in your big spreadsheet of like, things you worked on. Yeah. You even did some Nightmare World, and I love the title of the one that you did. And the art style as well.
Oh, the Alien? Yeah. So here's a fun fact. So Austin McKinley is the penciler, and I did the inks, and Salvador Raga did the colors. Now, Austin and we met 12 something years ago. He was just breaking. Yeah. I love that page. He was just breaking in, and we got to talking, and then we kind of fell apart. And then six years later, I just retired as a creative director. I finally got tired of my backup. My backup plan for 22 years was being in graphics and everything, and I was, graphic, then art director, then creative director for Disney and Universal and Warner Brothers and blah blah blah. Anyway, I got into film. I wanted to make a film. I wrote a script called Love, Hate, The Amazing Life of a Comic Book Artist. Huge stretch on my part. But I knew nothing about how to make a film. And he had started a production company. So we got to talking because we leaped up, and I said, hey, I'm looking to do a film. I don't know anything about directing, but I have a script and I want to act in it. He goes, funny enough, I have a story for Dirk and I need an inker. Do you want to trade? Absolutely. So that's kind of how it came about.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
It's interesting. The art style reminds me a lot of the art that's in Farmhand by Rob Guillory.
Yes, Rob's such a nice guy. And I love his series too. Now, I know he took a little break and he started back up though, didn't he? With a second series with Farmhand. Like there's Farmhand, the Farmhand 2, and they started a new one.
Yeah, it hasn't quite started again. He's been busy. I think he's doing a lot of actual on-set kind of like consulting.
Oh, okay.
So he's been doing a lot of getting that series out, which is crazy cool to be able to be there when something that's based on what you've written and drawn is like put to life. It's just crazy.
It's extremely cool.
I have no idea how they're going to do it because that storyline is ridiculous.
It depends if are they going to do live action or are they going to try to do like more animated?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know the answer to that question.
They could do it. They could do it animated pretty easy, but you have to be there because you have to direct because you've got voice actors. Mm-hmm. It's interesting how they do now. It's not that they're sitting in a booth. They're trying to really do the full action actors while they're just sitting there too. It's pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know. I'm excited now that now that I've heard that, I'm very excited to find out what's going on. That'd be pretty cool. I'll message him, message Rob, and see what's up.
So, what of the things you've worked on so far, which one do you think that people would be the most surprised that you love the most? Or is what you love the most? The obvious things.
Kind of the obvious things, you know. Divine and Stanley. Stanley was 11 years before it found a real home with Scout, and Divine was 7+ years. Most surprised about, no one knows that I have that thing in Invincible. It's always one of those things like, wait, what? Yeah, I got a thing in Invincible. Really? Yes, yeah, I did. You know, I did a 10th Use She one shot. I did covers for Alias at the time. I joke, I've got a banner that I used to put when I do shows, and I'm like celebrating over 25 years of obscurity in the comic book industry. Like, you recognize my name, you don't really know where it's from, because I just do little bits of a lot of different things. Yeah. Because I didn't do comics full time. Like, I wanted to do comics full time, and that's why the backup plan was to do graphics and everything. But when I moved to Florida, it was just a roller coaster. Lockheed Martin, then Disney, then Universal. It was one of those things. Well, and lucky enough to do what I was able to do. So yeah. Divine, I think, is the biggest one, because all the starts and stops, I didn't think it was actually going to come out. Like, you know, getting so close so many times, you're like, it's almost there, and just it doesn't happen. It's just, it's heartbreaking. After a while, you're like, yeah, but it's happened before. Maybe, but they're just Bradley, yes, gung ho, give it to me. Is it done yet? Let's get it done. So
give some advice to our viewers that might have the desire, the fire in their bellies to actually work in comic books. What do you think the key is?
What I tell everyone, if they have a passion on something, don't what if. Don't say what if, give it a try and do it. If you have a story that you want to tell, find someone or do it yourself, draw an ash can, draw a small comic book, and get it done. Is it going to stand up to Marvel? Maybe, maybe not. But you finished it, which is 90% more of what a lot of people say they're going to do. And then from there, you can learn from it, show people, get feedback, and then get better from that. That's it. Like, I have a zombie series called Zombies Were Human Too. It tells zombie stories before and how they became zombies. And it's told by teenagers, 2 older teenagers that calm the youngest one down because he's freaking out. What I've done is I've gotten pros, I've gotten amateurs, I've gotten novelists, and I've gotten people in film that want to be part of a comic book and get published. Joe Davison, he's the nerdy tech in Stranger Things 2.
Okay.
Oh, the guy bouncing the ball. Joe's a good friend of mine. We've acted a few things. He's always wanted to be in the comic book, so I got him a story. He's in volume 2. It's been published. I got another buddy. He's a director. He did some stuff for Nightmare on Elm Street. Okay. He joked, he's like, so if I wasn't doing film, I'd be a comic book person. So I said, hey, I got a couple of slots for volume 4. Do you want to do a story? I want to collaborate with this thing. That's my whole thing. I don't want people to say what if. I want people that if they think they want to try to do something, give it to me. Let's see if we can put it out there, get it published. You fulfill what you want to do, and maybe you want to get the spark and improve upon it. That's it.
Okay, so that's really cool to know that that's the step that you need to make, which is to just make something. Yeah. And then for you to say, okay, well, maybe some people need a little extra help to know where to put it or how to put it out. You just give them a home to put it there, which is way cool.
I'm all about passing it forward now. It's, there's so many people that kind of pushed me along to help get me started and whatever. Mm-hmm. Who am I not to do that? Who am I not to try to help that? And I'm nobody. I mean, I've done a couple of cool things. I've worked with some cool stuff. I've done stuff. I'm not to the heights of, the really elite comic book people, but I've got a lot of experience. I know what not to do. So I can help you not do that and be more successful than me. I've mentored a bunch of people that are a whole lot more successful than me, and it just warms my heart and it makes me happy because they were able to fulfill their potential. That's, to me, is pretty awesome.
Kind of seen that in a lot of different industries. You see that in film, and you see it in costuming. Mm-hmm. That people often say that the way to get things done is to just kind of like go and do it, volunteer to do it whenever people need it, like in productions and those kinds of things, and then people see your work ethic, and then when you're like, if you have a job and that person that helped you be able to work on your craft, then oftentimes everyone just keeps on raising each other up. And oh, you're looking for an anchor? I know an anchor, kind of thing.
Exactly. The whole process is to try to lift. If everyone helps everyone in the industry lift themselves up, the quality goes up, stories get better. So that puts value to what you're going to do. And ultimately, you should get that reward back financially in other ways. You know what I mean? It's interesting. I've done film. I'm in a dichotomy. In comic books, I'm really done it for a long time. Film, I've only done it for a little bit. I've been lucky enough to be in some cool things. Like I'm in a film called 45 Seconds that's going to be on Netflix later on this year. I'm in a new series called Black Veil that Dan Myrick, the Blair Witch Project, Jeffrey Reddick, they created that series. So I'm in episode 1. I was in a Christmas movie called The Christmas Ride, and I was able to win a couple of Best Supporting Actor and Actor awards. So I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm putting myself out there and I'm trying, and people are kind of pointing me in the right direction and helping me out. Plus, I've made a few of my own films.
Mm-hmm. So tell me about the films that you've made that are yours.
So Love Hate is the very first one. It was on Amazon, but I think it kind of timed out. My second one is Mortem Happens. It is a suspense horror that's on Vimeo. Yeah, Vimeo. And then right now we're in post where it's a feature film called Chico and the Coach. It's a documentary. It's about a high school basketball coach. So we're doing that. And then I have another feature film that we're looking to get shot called Waiting on Faith. It's a faith-based film. So I'm talking with investors right now. So
where do you hope to have that land? Do you see it being a streamed film?
Yeah, PureFlix already said they'd like to carry it, which is great. Now that, especially that they've been bought, so that's even better. But it's going to different streaming things. If it can go to theater, that's amazing. But that's not the end goal. Is to just get it out there and kind of see what happens. So yeah. Yeah,
I was hoping to go see Kevin Sorbo's got a faith-based film that's coming out this weekend, and they're doing a viewing soon. That I think Saturday is part of a convention, and he's going to be there. Awesome. So
yeah.
I don't know if I can still get tickets to go and to see him. There's nothing like watching a movie with the people that do it, right?
Oh, it's super fun. Yeah, mm-hmm. It's weird seeing yourself on screen doing what you're doing, but seeing other people, and part of it too, I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of fun. They're the worst critics. They're always like, ugh, but it's fun.
So have you gotten recognized for your roles at all? Have anyone on the street be like, "Hey, you're that dude"?
Oh, so my last one. There was the American National Griddle Week, and it was Blackstone Griddles, and I was on the national commercial. So I walked through, I'm like, "I saw you, yeah, I saw you there." And then the other one was it's more commercials than film. A couple of conventions, someone saw me on Love Hate, so because they saw it on Amazon, which was on, so that was kind of fun. But yeah.
My problem is that I might totally recognize somebody, but I have no idea from where. My default is they came to shop at my store, right? I don't think I saw them on TV.
Right. Yeah, you see, that's the thing. You see so many faces. You're like, did I see them on TV? Have I seen them in the store? Were they in the coffee shop down the road? I always get confused. That's what I know you, but I'm not sure from where, and I apologize. I'm old. And then they're like, "Oh, okay, I'm from here." "Oh, that's right. Yeah."
He's like, "Oh yeah, I'm your Y instructor." "Oh, okay."
Yeah, I can play the over 50 card. So yeah, I'm over 50. It's not there anymore. I can't.
Oh my goodness. So when is your zombies? Is it come out in comic book form or graphic novel? Because you said volumes.
It's in volumes. We're gonna do a Kickstarter. Actually, starting next week. Stan Yak is an amazing artist from Russia. And we're doing a exclusive of all his art he did in the zombie series. So it's going to be 3 stories. So we're doing a comic book based just on that. And then volume 3, we're going to do a Kickstarter in October. And then volume 4, we're going to do in February. Once the volumes are done, I can break them down into comic book format, and then we will talk with publishers to see who might be interested. I know Second Sight is bugging me all the time. So most likely, but I had a couple others ask too. So I thought fair, we'll just talk to different ones and kind of see what's what. But I also want to get these other series either almost done or done before we kind of jump into something else like that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
For people who are going to follow you on social media, where's the best place to keep up with you?
I'm old, so Facebook is a place, not only for myself, but my acting thing. Instagram, I'm trying to be much better on. So that's my secondary. I found out with Instagram, it goes to Facebook too. So that's cool. So either one's fine. If people want to just find out anything generally about me, and I know it sounds stupid, just Google my name. You'll find a lot of interesting stuff about me, either film or comic books or whatever.
Well, it's awesome. So awesome talking to you. I look forward so much to reading Stanley. I know it's going to be just what I need to get me through to the actual Christmas season.
I'll give you some good Christmas feels. And I got to tell you, I was so excited to find out that I could be on your podcast. So this is a thrill for me too. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, Austin. All right, everybody, stay tuned to the experience. Up next is Nick. He's going to sell you some really awesome Dynamite merch. And we'll see you guys in just a couple minutes. Thank you so much, Austin.
Thank you.